Businesses today confront a range of different issues. There's supply chain shortages, rising input costs, a lack of workers and increasing wage pressures. So how are they coping? One of the best people to talk to about this is one of the country's oldest and best credentialed accounting firms, RSM, which recently turned 100 years old. It also looks after more than 20,000 businesses across the country. It's recently won a Client Choice Award in each of the past 4 years. Its National Chairman, Jamie O'Rourke, and I spoke with him a little earlier.
Well, Ross, we're coming off a very strong calendar year 2021, and the start of this year, things have started to slow. There's a little bit of hesitation in the business community. There's no question about that. Why? Well, could be a few reasons. Certainly, there's an election looming. We've got the Ukraine-Russian crisis, but I think the really big plays at the moment are this continuing interruption to the supply chain and also the labour shortage that seems to be confronting most businesses in Australia today.
OK, let's go to that labour shortage, because that's one of the real problems. If all of a sudden you get wages growing too quickly, then obviously those businesses have two choices. Either number one, their profits are reduced, or number two, they put up their prices. What's your sense with your businesses right now? Have they got the ability to raise prices? Because competition normally holds it back down.
Oh, look, that's a depends question. It depends on the industry. It depends on who their customers are. It depends. I can give you some great examples of businesses where they're a services business paying $45 an hour to their contractors, and because of the shortage, competitors are coming in at $65 an hour. And they've got to make a choice. Do they keep the staff and therefore business shrinkage, or do they actually pay more, which means margin shrinkage? So some tough questions for businesses now, and they'll navigate through the way that is best for them.
So, I was going to say, because this is part of the role of the accountant, is to actually help make those decisions, to actually give them the evidence, to show them the information, and to be able to say, look, there it is, make your choices to which way you want to go. But for many of them right now, and we've seen it in the construction industry, you've seen fixed price contracting, which has gone on, and as a result of supply chain issues, rising commodity prices, rising wages, they've gone broke. Now, again, this is what you don't want for your clients, is you want to make certain that they're robust and strong and that they're there for the next 20, 30 years.
Absolutely. And it's very, very hard. Construction's a really tough industry to be in at the moment, because, as you would know, they need to reach a milestone before they get the next payment. And because of the wages or because of the supply chain interruption, they may not be able to meet the milestone. Therefore, they don't get the payment, they can't pay their wages, and they do get in trouble. So they need a lot of bank support and understanding as part of this process.
OK, so do you think there's a confidence for people or businesses to employ right now? And again, I guess it depends which business it is, because the government is obviously giving significant incentive to take on apprentices with, cash handouts. And then obviously to upgrade IT systems, there's more tax deductions that are there. So this is all new initiatives. But the idea is to have business employ more people. The more people it employs, the more tax the government collects. It's a pretty simple equation.
I think businesses are looking for people but can't find them. Before we had COVID, there were 200,000 permanent visas given each year. There was 600,000 people on temporary visas working in Australia. That's all stopped. That's the last 2 years we haven't had any of that. So there's been a massive draw out of labour out of Australia, and it's going to take some time for that to come back in. But businesses, if they can find people, they will definitely employ them at any level. OK, so in manufacturing or any process-based industry, does this give them an incentive to go even more deeply and more quickly into IT, if they can, robotics, if they can, to try and take stuff into the cloud or wherever it might be, to get services provided to them from elsewhere, so that they take the human beings out of their businesses? Absolutely, they have to. If they're not looking at new ways to innovate in the way that they produce their goods or deliver their service, then they will be going backwards. And that doesn't mean that we're taking jobs out of Australia, because we just need more productivity. And if the productivity can come from robots and labour, that's great. Our unemployment they're saying, is going to drop below 4% for the next 2 years. And it hasn't been that low for 50 years. So the labour market's really tight. If they could use robotics or other solutions, they should be doing it. OK, so Jamie, the one thing I want to ask you about, because I've spoken to all sorts of business leaders about this conundrum, but I want to see what you're hearing from medium and small businesses right now.
improving productivity. It's really a very difficult thing. It hasn't been achieved for the past 10 years on a national basis. Is there any sense now that you feel that smaller and medium-sized businesses are able to improve their productivity?
Oh, definitely, Ross. Yeah, definitely. Look, technology and the way that technology advancements have been progressing around the world and in Australia, that creates so much opportunity for all business to improve the productivity that they're able to generate. And everybody should be looking at the different sorts of software applications that can make them faster, quicker, smarter at the way they do things. And it's happening in so many different businesses.
And so in many ways, that's what a firm like you might actually help. Because you're working across such a broad spectrum of firms, you can see what different companies are doing and apply it to different customers and clients that you've got. That's the benefit of having such a large number of clients, more than 20,000, as I mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, we have an SME digital service that does exactly that. So it looks at the existing software stack that the business is using and will make suggestions based on our experience and knowledge as to how they can actually automate and do things faster with less labour input, and it helps them, it helps them in their productivity.
Jamie O'Rourke, National Chairman of RSM Australia, many thanks for your time on the program today.
Thank you, Ross.